I've been in office since 1995, and I think that I've met Mayor Nyquist just once at a conference. But outside of that, everything I know about the race in New Paltz, I read in the newspaper.
The first time I met Russ was the night of the middle school debate, and I got a chance to talk to him. I did tell him that prior to meeting him, I had heard some things, which is generally in a small town, particularly in a village like New Paltz. It's a very small town, so there's a lot of stuff going on when you hear there's a race. I mean, this race has caught the attention of a great many people.
Had a few pretty big conflicts with the mayor and the village board of trustees. I found them to be very uncooperative, to be very uncaring as far as what the general public is looking for. They don't meet the needs of the businesses, they don't meet the needs of the students, and they're very opinionated. They have their own set agenda, and they're very structured in keeping that agenda intact, and there's not much room for flexibility, and that's why I think we need a new face. We need someone that doesn't have a political agenda already set.
The community of New Paltz was faced with a very difficult challenge, which was a proposal for a big box retailer, a Walmart store in New Paltz. At that time, Mayor Nyquist, and with the support later of the village board, made a decision to deny water and sewer to this project.
Our feeling was that the big box places, where they've gone in elsewhere, they've tended to hurt and to destroy small businesses. So we took the position that if they were going to come into New Paltz, they would have to come in without our providing either water or sewer.
When we were moving ahead with a field house back in 1994, the village sued the college then, the state of New York, to stop us. Their argument is that our infrastructure, particularly our sewage, was leaking, and refuse was going into the groundwater. And they said our system on this campus was old and in terrible disrepair, and until we addressed this environmental issue, they were going to block any movement ahead in the field house. I'm happy they did. I'm happy they sued us, because about $1.5 million or to $2 million later, we have invested, sight unseen, you're unaware of it, no reason you should be aware of it, in repairing all the sewage on this campus.
One thing that I really dislike about the fact is eliminating the police force in New Paltz, and I think that that's very detrimental to the students and also to the people here, because they have a relationship with the businesses here and with the students also.
What they want to do right now, there are plans to cut and revamp the police department. I do not want students dealing with state police. I think a good local police department will solve the problems and everything will be, leave well enough alone.
That issue is a moot point because the town has made the decision to continue having the police department at pretty much the same level that it currently is. I want to make it clear that I respect our police officers. I think that they do an excellent job. But I also respect the taxpayer, and I look at what level we are paying for service. I don't think we need a larger police department. I think the police department is doing an excellent job with the size department they currently have.
Honestly, I really didn't want to see state troopers running through our school. And I'm indifferent about the bar thing, the 2 o'clock bar thing, but I think it's better that it's open till 4.
Right, I'm doing bar closures until 4 a.m. The incumbent wants to close them at 2. If you know, we shot down through a referendum, a bar being open on campus last year. Students sent a clear message they don't want alcohol and parties on campus. We feel that if the bars are closed at 2, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to jeopardize the safety of students on campus.
The fact that he's young didn't really influence me. At first I went away from that because he is young and he's like me and I know how I am. So, but just in interacting with him and seeing how he is, he's really on point what he wants to do, what he needs to get done, so I really feel confident.
You know, when you run for public office, you have the unfortunate pleasure of being under, you know, the magnifying glass. So no matter what happens, no matter how old you are, you're going to have people watching after you. It takes a little bit more to get other elected officials to believe that you're, you know, you're equal to them and that you're deserving of respect. But that just means you have to work harder, and it's a better learning experience.
I started my business when I was 23 years old, and a lot of people said I wasn't going to make it, and the place was losing money every month. And I've had it now for 5 years. It wasn't really easy the first couple of years, but I got it, and I made it work. And I think Russ has the same determination and intelligence to get in here and make it work. And I think the first year is going to be very difficult on him. But once he gets that under his belt, I think it's going to be all downhill.
If you decide to run for office as a 19-year-old or an 18-year-old, you have to expect that you're going to be put under a great deal of pressure, and you're going to be put under a great deal of concern that people want to make sure that if they're going to vote for you, that you're going to do the job. You don't come to the table with much as an 18-year-old. You don't have a life of experience. So if you run for office at a young age, you need to prove to people that you're willing to listen, you're willing to continue learning, and whatever experience you do have, you're willing to build on that. So, you know, so I think it's probably reasonable to think that that 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds and any young person who runs for office should probably expect to have a lot more pressure than someone else.
I don't see his age as a problem. I see his inexperience as a problem. He doesn't know the community. He doesn't know the issues. Most of us who get involved at the level of mayor have had a lot of years in the community, and we've served in various kinds of positions. Before I chose to run for mayor, I'd served as deputy mayor for 4 years. I'd served as chairman of the police commission for a year. I'd served as chairman of the planning board for more than a year. I had served as a county legislator for 4 years. And I'd lived in the community since 1968. So I think it's not his age so much as his lack of knowledge of the community and lack of experience. It would be almost like my saying I want to run for president of the college because I want to run for president of the college.
What's Russ? I don't know. I think he's 23, 24, something like that. He's no spring chicken. He's been around the block a few times. And I think he's at the age at which running for office, if you're so inclined, politically inclined, is terrific. Mayor, I imagine he's probably 60. I'm guessing. I've never asked him his age, and if I've read it, I don't recall what his age is. But he's a seasoned veteran. He's politically very savvy. He understands New York State politics, and he's done a lot for this village, an awful lot for this village. But you can always argue time for new blood or young blood, and maybe Russ is the right candidate. Again, I leave that to the individual voters to decide.
Nyquist has been running, and him being unopposed, someone new, fresh blood is definitely a better option.
Young people have a lot of energy, and they have a lot of great ideas, and, you know, I think that's can be a positive thing.
If you're going to run for office, you can't run just to serve the college students, and you can't run just to serve the teenagers. You know, the fact of the matter is, as a mayor, you're responsible for all residents of all ages, and you're responsible for every aspect of running that village government. So if you come to the table only ready to represent people your age, you're guaranteed that you're not going to do well, and more importantly than that, you don't deserve to do well, because you really do need to know that you have you know, $1 million budget or whatever the case might be in New Paltz, but also you have thousands of residents to represent, not just young people.
You know, this is an old community, and I think there is some age discrimination. I think the fact that he's a student has got members in the community that live within the village and